Nissan just rolled out 4 major changes for the 2026 Frontier that are dividing truck buyers into believers and critics, with some modifications creating more controversy than celebration. If you're considering this mid-sized truck but feeling confused by mixed reviews and conflicting opinions about whether these updates are worth your hard-earned money, you need to see the full picture before making your decision. While truck updates don't always focus on genuine improvements, Nissan's approach raises serious questions about whether they're prioritizing the right things, and the 4th change might shock you with how it affects your wallet. Number 4. Visual upgrades are just visual. When you're spending $40,000 on a truck, you want it to look like it means business. Nothing's more disappointing than pulling up to a job site in a vehicle that screams mall crawler instead of work truck. But Nissan's approach to addressing this concern is raising questions among serious truck buyers who care more about capability than curb appeal. The most talked about addition is the new Dark Armor package, available exclusively for the SV grade. This styling enhancement tackles the problem of trucks looking too polished for real work. The package brings 17-inch black alloy wheels that immediately darken the truck's overall appearance, transforming multiple exterior elements with a cohesive dark theme. Mirror caps, front grille, exterior badging, and even the Frontier tailgate lettering all receive darkened treatments that create a more aggressive, purposeful appearance. The transformation continues inside the cabin, where a black headliner replaces the standard light-colored option, while door handles, HVAC vents, shifter trim, and dashboard accents all get darkened to match the exterior theme. Therefore, owners who actually use their trucks for work won't constantly worry about maintaining pristine interior surfaces. However, critics are questioning whether these visual upgrades address the problems that actually matter. When you're struggling to keep up with competitors at traffic lights or watching your fuel gauge drop during highway drives, attractive paint and dark trim pieces don't solve your real-world challenges. The truck's powertrain remains unchanged despite growing competition from rivals who are introducing more powerful and efficient engines. Therefore, buyers who prioritize substance over style might find themselves paying extra for cosmetic changes that don't address performance concerns that affect every single drive. But if you think visual upgrades without substance are disappointing, wait until you see what happens when a legendary performance company gets involved but delivers half the expected package, which brings us to the most controversial change. Number 3. Pro 4X by Roush. Roush Performance is renowned for its supercharged Ford Mustangs and high-performance truck modifications, making their involvement with the Frontier particularly intriguing for buyers who expected earth-shattering power increases. The company has built its reputation on extracting maximum performance from engines, but their approach with the Nissan is taking a completely different direction that's leaving enthusiasts scratching their heads. When you're crawling over boulder fields or navigating deep sand washes, standard suspension components quickly reach their limits. Roush and Nolan's have developed a sophisticated 2.0 off-road suspension system that lifts the truck by 2 inches compared to the standard Pro 4X. This isn't a simple spacer lift that compromises geometry, but a complete engineering solution featuring precision-tuned coilover shocks with external reservoirs. These reservoirs solve the critical problem of fluid overheating during extended off-road sessions. The engineering includes custom upper control arms designed specifically for this application. These components aren't just lifted versions of stock parts, but completely redesigned pieces that maintain proper alignment despite the increased ride height. Ground clearance increases to 10.6 inches, solving the problem of scraping expensive underbody components on rocks and logs that would damage lesser trucks. The visual package matches the performance upgrades with 17-inch titanium-finished wheels wrapped in aggressive Hankook Dynapro AT2 Extreme all-terrain tires. Titanium-finished skid plates, grille inserts, and lower front fascia create protection for vulnerable components, while lava-red tow hooks provide functional recovery points that solve the problem of getting unstuck when adventure goes wrong. But here's where the controversy explodes. Despite Roush's legendary reputation for engine modifications and every off-road enthusiast's need for more torque when climbing steep grades with heavy loads, the Pro 4XR receives absolutely no powertrain upgrades. The same naturally aspirated 3.8-liter V6 that produces 310 horsepower and 281 pound-feet of torque carries over unchanged, leaving buyers with the same power limitations they started with. So the performance upgrades fall short of expectations, but that's not the only area where Nissan is making questionable decisions, which leads us to changes that sound practical on paper but reveal deeper problems. Number 2. Functional enhancements. Nothing's more frustrating than being stuck in the wrong gear for the terrain you're crossing, watching your truck struggle unnecessarily because it can't adapt to changing conditions. Nissan is addressing these challenges with what they call functional enhancements, but critics argue these additions simply bring the Frontier to where competitors have been for years. The new drive mode selector tackles the problem of manually adjusting multiple vehicle systems for different terrain conditions. This system offers 5 distinct modes including rock, sand, on-road, mud, and hill descent control, solving the headache of remembering which settings work best for each situation. Each mode automatically adjusts throttle response, transmission shift points, and traction control intervention, therefore eliminating guesswork. However, when you're shopping for a new truck and comparing capabilities, similar multi-mode systems have been standard on competing trucks for several years. The Ford Ranger and Toyota Tacoma both offer comprehensive terrain management systems that include more modes and more sophisticated programming. Climate control improvements are coming to Pro grades, addressing the misery of freezing morning commutes. These grades will now include heated front seats, heated steering wheel, and remote engine start as standard equipment. But most competitors have been offering these comfort features as standard equipment on similar trim levels for multiple model years. SV and Pro grades are getting an 8-way power driver seat, solving the problem of finding comfortable seating positions for different drivers and driving conditions. The power adjustment is particularly beneficial for drivers who frequently enter and exit the vehicle or share the truck with multiple drivers. The new all-weather package bundles several features that address the challenges of harsh climate driving, including heated leather steering wheel, heated front seats, dual-zone automatic climate control, and remote engine start for SV grades. But the criticism centers around Nissan's sluggish response to market expectations. The Chevrolet Colorado and Toyota Tacoma both include more advanced infotainment systems, better driver assistance packages, and more sophisticated comfort features as standard equipment. Therefore, buyers comparing the Frontier to competitors might find the Nissan lacking in areas that matter for daily use and long-term satisfaction. These functional shortcomings are frustrating enough, but they become even more painful when you realize what Nissan is charging for these catch-up features, which brings us to the most controversial change of all. Number 1. Pricing. When you're already stretching your budget to afford a capable truck, discovering that prices have jumped significantly without corresponding improvements feels like a betrayal of trust. The most controversial aspect of the 2026 Frontier changes is the pricing strategy, which is creating significant debate about whether buyers are getting genuine value or paying more for the privilege of driving a catch-up product. The base Frontier now starts at $32,150, creating sticker shock for buyers who remember when capable mid-sized trucks cost significantly less. For buyers considering the top-tier performance option, the Pro 4 XR by Roush, priced at $47,960, raises serious questions about return on investment. While this price point is lower than the Ford Ranger Raptor or Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, the lack of powertrain upgrades makes the value comparison challenging. Buyers are essentially paying a premium for suspension and aesthetic modifications without gaining any engine performance advantages. Industry analysts are questioning whether the price increases correlate with meaningful improvements that actually enhance ownership experiences. The visual upgrades, while attractive, don't provide functional benefits that improve towing capacity, fuel economy, or reliability. The functional enhancements are features that competitors have been offering as standard equipment for multiple model years. Therefore, buyers might perceive they're paying more for Nissan to reach competitive parity rather than to gain advantages over alternatives. The most concerning aspect is that pricing increases come without addressing the Frontier's core competitive weaknesses. The naturally aspirated V6 engine remains unchanged despite growing competition from turbocharged and hybrid alternatives that offer better performance and efficiency. Fuel economy ratings lag behind competitors, but prices continue rising without efficiency improvements. Therefore, buyers are paying more for a truck that hasn't resolved its fundamental competitive disadvantages in the areas that matter most for daily ownership satisfaction. The 2026 Nissan Frontier's 4 controversial changes reveal a manufacturer struggling to find its identity in the competitive mid-sized truck market. Visual upgrades like the Dark Armor package look appealing but don't address performance concerns. The Pro 4X by Roush collaboration disappoints by offering suspension improvements without the powertrain upgrades that Roush is famous for. Functional enhancements simply catch up to where competitors have been for years rather than leading innovation, and pricing increases across the lineup make buyers question whether they're getting genuine value or paying premium prices for a truck that still lags behind rivals in crucial areas like fuel economy and torque output. While Nissan is clearly trying to make the Frontier more competitive, these changes suggest a brand that's reacting to market pressures rather than setting new standards for what mid-sized truck buyers should expect from their investment. But as questionable as these updates are, the thing is that even the most iconic models like the Jeep Wrangler create serious controversy. If you think Frontier's changes are disappointing, wait to see what Jeep has prepared for its legendary off-roader. Hybrid upgrades doesn't seem to meet expectations, while the fact that the V8 remains reserved only for high-end versions and remains out of reach of most potential buyers is yet another letdown.